Okay, we are fixing the Sami problem. If you haven't watched that most recent video, well, I guess I don't know if it'll be the most recent video or not, but in a prior video, you'll remember that I was out on a trail, kind of out several miles away from my camp, and this spring pack came undone, and I actually lost 2 whole leaves out of it. Well, I've made a bit of a startling discovery. I have lost leaves out of that spring pack, and I think that also means that the main pin that holds the axle centered has come off. Not sure when, not sure how, not sure, well, I guess I know how. This center bolt here broke at some point. I don't know when. So it separated, and I found out because the Samurai was crab walking, because the whole axle was offset. So this was my fix here, using the winch, tying it up, kind of pulling it into place, and with that I was able to ease it out. I've got a new pack. Zook's Off-Road, hooked me up and got me a pack out quick, because I've still got more to do. In fact, I'm taking this on a 3, maybe 4 day excursion coming up here. My brother-in-law has a bull elk hunt. And I'm gonna go out with him, and we're gonna cover some miles. So I need this sucker up and running so that I can depend on it. So I did the old trusty, put the sprinkler underneath and let it run to clean off all the mud up underneath, so that I'm not, have trash falling down. Well, I'm still gonna have trash falling down on my face, but maybe not as much as before. Got it all cleaned off, got the wheel pulled off, got my safety stands in place. One there, and my high lift, and then I've sprayed these bolts with PB Blaster. So now it's time to see if I can pull that leaf pack off. We'll get the new one on, and if that goes pretty quickly, I've got a few other things that I want to do in order to prepare for this trip that I've got coming up, just to make sure that everything's in good shape and ready to roll. So that's what I'm going to do next, is start pulling bolts, see how quickly this is going to drop down. Suspicions are that I'm going to want the full brunt, so I'm just going to go straight to that versus messing around. Oh, it wasn't too bad. Wrong direction. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now is get the jack up there and pull a little bit of weight off the diff. Something like that. Let's see if we can get that U-bolt off now. She's out. Ugh. Just pulled that out. I don't know if you can see that, but that sucker is rounded off. There you go, that's a better view. That's the bolt head that holds the pack together, and you can see it's just completely rounded off, smoothed off. So I think that's been broken for a while, and it was held together and just kind of slowly started rattling apart, and I just barely noticed it up on the mountain. I think that's been broken for some time. The way that looks. Pretty lucky I probably didn't break anything else. I might go ahead and drain the rear diff and just see what that looks like, because I'm curious if I've been putting weird pressure on the pinion. and maybe causing some damage back there, but we'll see. We'll get this new pack in and take it from there. Well, I ran in and grabbed dinner. I got the call for dinner just as I dropped that spring, which was good because it gave me a chance to charge this battery. I've got my Jackery out here, and I have my battery packs on charge because it was getting low. What I've got to do now is I've got to press this bushing out on that side because I'll reuse that bushing, but then I've got a new bushing for this side here, which I'll need to press in. And then once I've got those pressed in, well, pressed out, pressed back in, once I've got all that done, then I should be set to start putting it all back together. So we're gonna get this over here and see if we can't get this pressed out so that we can get it pressed in and keep things rolling. So you observant viewers are going to notice it is now dark outside. I got a call from a neighbor that needed help with something, so I ran up and helped them. Then I had to move with the water on the field, and that move was from the bottom all the way up to the top. It wasn't just a single move. I had to reset. So it's now dark outside, but it was beautiful because there's a lightning storm going on. Well, honestly, all around us, to the south, to the north, to the east. And it's just incredible. So I kind of want to just stay out and watch that, but I really need to get this finished up tonight. So I'm going to work on this, but what I've done is I've set up my other GoPro doing a time warp, which I really hope is going to work. I think that's going to work better than trying to do a time lapse and hoping that I catch those lightning strikes in the intervals. I didn't have a lot of time to play with the settings, so we'll see how that all turns out, but hopefully you'll get a chance to watch that. Maybe I'll stick that like over here on this half of the screen, and I'll be working on Sammy on this half of the screen, and we'll see what we can get done. All right, she's sitting on her own four wheels again. Everything's looking pretty good. My buddy sent me a text. I told him what I was doing, and he said, "How much lift do you think you'll gain?" And I'm like, ooh, I hadn't thought about that. And then I got worried that since one leaf was really worn in and the other one was brand new, that it was going to be sitting really crooked. But I actually just measured it, and it's sitting a little bit high on that side, but it's like 1 degree. Here, I'll show you if I can show you here. See what I mean? So if that side came up a little bit, then we'd be even, but I mean, that's not bad. I think it's because of the air shocks. I think the air shocks are leveling that out and making it just right. So that's awesome. I'm happy I got that taken care of. I was planning on doing more. I've got some seat covers I want to put on. I want to make sure my tools are set. I was going to check some fluids Some things I need to grab a spare tire, some things like that, but that'll have to wait for another night because it's about bedtime. So I'm gonna get cleaned up and head inside. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you've enjoyed the lightning show as well. That's still kind of going on. Yeah, it's been a good night. I'm happy. All right, guys, here's the deal. I've got a lot to get done tonight and in the morning before I take off on this trip. and pretty much all of it has to do with Sami. I've ordered some parts that felt, well, I ordered some necessities, some maybe necessities, and then some creature comfort items. And they all kind of came. I actually didn't think they were going to get here in time, but they all showed up today. And so now I'm kind of like, ooh, I want to hurry and get them on. So that I've got it all set for the trip that I'm going on. And it's going to be a probably a 3-day deal, is what it looks like it's going to be. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get as much time off work as I was hoping to. I've got a job that we sent out to a partner company. They said they were going to get it done and ship out in time, and it almost looks like maybe they're not. And that job is due on Monday. And if they're not going to get it here on time, I'm going to have to hustle and do it in-house. And the problem with that is that it's a fairly large volume, and it's got some finishing and folding, which we can do all of that, but we're like super busy as is. And that's why I kind of sent this one to a partner company, because they're a little more capable when it comes to some of that stuff, and it's one less job we had to deal with, and the pricing and everything was right. And so anyways, long story short, I don't know if that's going to happen, and I don't know if I'm going to have to be home a day early in order to take care of that job. It's over kind of in eastern Utah, in an area I've been to once before. But other than that, it's all going to be new country to me, so I'm excited about that. It's a bull elk hunt. He's got a bull elk tag, and basically I'm kind of along for the ride to help him look and stuff like that. I don't know how much of it I'm going to record, and if I'll make an episode out of it, because it's one of those things that I just kind of want to be there and just be part of the experience and not have to deal with the camera and a lot of those things. Not to mention the privacy of everybody else that's kind of along for the ride. I am going to just kind of hammer away. I'll try and explain things, what I'm doing as I go, but for the most part, you're just going to see me getting stuff done and hopefully the finished product. Okay, first item I'm working on, I'm going to call it a necessity, and that's headlights. The headlights on this rig have been terrible since the day I bought it, and I was actually looking at them the other day when I was working on some other stuff, and the plugs for them are like terrible, like destroyed, terrible. So I found a solenoid harness that, if I'm understanding right, you just plug into your existing headlight port on one side, but then it's a solenoid system, so it's set up to where it'll pull power directly from the battery to hit your headlamps and light them up that way. So I'm excited to give that a try. So should be a pretty quick and easy wire up here. Only 2 screws holding it in, and they're wood screws. That's okay, right? Yeah. Alright, I got a couple of things I'm fighting here, but first thing is on this, you can see there's this spring right back here, if you can see that. It holds tension on the headlamp, and that's what allows you to adjust it with these screws here to adjust where it's aimed. Well, this one was missing, so I did the right thing and just put a wire tie on that. That's holding it in good. So I think we're in good shape there. So now I ought to be able to set that headlamp in and get it all connected up. And it's starting to get dark, so I might get these in just enough time to back it out and do a quick aim job on them, because in the past they've been kind of aimed like up in the trees and really bad. So I'm going to try and get them aimed real quick, and probably not perfect, but good enough for this weekend. So I just had a realization that if I'm going to have the blinker and the headlamp, I could actually get rid of these. What's your thoughts on that? Should I keep these? Kind of that vintage old lamp look, or just go with the blinker that's in the headlamp and do it that way? You have to put that in the comments down below. Let me know what you think on it. There we go. There's the difference between the two. Looks a whole lot meaner with the other one, huh? I like it. I like it a lot. I'll get the rest of it hooked up. Okay, well, I've got the grill off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back out and aim it up on the door, and see if I can aim the headlights a little bit. And because I can't access the screws while the grill's on. So I've got to be able to get in and access those screws in order to aim the headlights. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll pull it in, and then honestly I'm probably going to call it a night at that point. The next morning, as you can probably tell, let me show you what I did last night. So I finished the headlamps, put the grill in, I even painted it. I don't know if you can see that. I just found a bottle of kind of an orangey red spray paint and thought, well, it has that mesh behind there, we'll just add that in, just why not? I honestly didn't even touch the headlamps. This one was way out of adjustment, I could tell when I was installing it, so I kind of fudged them down a little bit, but they honestly look really good where they're at, so I kind of left them, put the grill in. Because I didn't have to spend a bunch of time with that, I ended up putting seat covers on the front. I've had these for a while. I actually bought these when I bought the previous ones. I liked them so much I bought a second set. And then I've got this too, which the cup holder I had in here kind of busted up, and I'd looked at these for a while. It's got a little bit of storage inside, cup holders on top, kind of act as an armrest, so I got that in too. And I think that's it. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to change the air cleaner, and then I've got a mass airflow sensor that I need to replace. Well, I don't know if I need to replace it or not. I'm going to replace, because I think it could be an issue. So we're just going to do that real quick and see if that solves the issue. It's a cheap part, so figured why not, and then we'll take it from there. There we go. I actually don't think this air cleaner's that bad. I've blown it out before, but I figured while I was in there, why not? So I went ahead and bought a new one. I don't know how long this one's been in there. It might even be the original, but I figured I'd just go ahead and get a new one just for the heck of it. All right. You should be set. So here's why I had such a struggle with that. This has got power steering in it, and this hose runs back around behind. Here you go, kind of up and over to the power steering pump, but then this other hose runs up over here, so it kind of traps this back corner, and all of this is pretty rigid. There's just not much give, so it's really hard to get that top pulled off. I kind of dread it. Every single time I do it, which isn't too often, but. And then this piece of mud flap, I noticed a while back that it was really rubbing on those power steering lines pretty heavily in those two corner spots. So I found that and kind of cut a strip of it, and that just wraps around and kind of creates a buffer between the two. So okay, was I gonna do something else while I was under here? Maybe I'll just check the oil real quick. All right, let's take her for a rip, see how she does. Well, that didn't solve what I was hoping it would, which is unfortunate. I honestly kind of didn't think that it was going to, but someone suggested it, and so I thought, well, I'll give it a try and see. Cheap part. So unfortunately, that just didn't do what I wanted it to, but it didn't hurt anything either. So right now I'm just topping off my front diff. This axle has the seals on the end are leaking. I've never done it before. I'm sure I can do it. It's one of those jobs that I don't think would be too big of a deal. It's just been finding the time to do it and the willingness to have Sammy down for a while. So I just keep topping it off and making sure it's got enough in it. This is a toolkit that I bought way back when I had an old Chevy truck. I really miss that truck. It was a good truck. I liked the way it looked, the way it sounded, everything about it. It just gave me lots of problems and didn't quite have the pulling power that I needed when I got my business and was moving multiple pallets and trailers and stuff like that. And when I started having a family, it just wasn't quite big enough to fit wife, kids, car seats. It didn't have it had an extended cab but didn't have the third door, so you had to kind of push the seat forward, and anyways, just wasn't working. So that's when I bought my other truck. But back to the original story, this was the toolbox that I got that went in that first truck, and when I got rid of it and bought Sammy, I transferred it over to Sammy. Ended up buying a new one for my new truck. This case broke a long time ago and has been kind of losing tools because it's been stuck back there open. So I figure I'm just going to pull everything out of this, stick it in this bag that I got. I don't even know what this bag came with, something I bought. And it'll fit with that. So that's what I'm doing, transferring all these over. This will go in the back, and then it'll be just a better tool pouch for my tools versus worrying about losing them out of this plastic case. That's handled. Another thing I didn't show was the new wheel I put on the jack. That guy there. When I was loading last time, that other wheel looked like it was going to break, and that would really mess up my loading and unloading process if I didn't have a wheel. So I thought I better upgrade that. So I did pay for that. I did buy it. It's a really heavy duty. I don't remember what it's made out of, but really heavy duty, so makes a big difference. Okay, I'm gonna hook up and fill things up with water, and then we're gonna start loading up on the trailer.